Hello, it is fishbulbgeek, and I am back with Mark Shepherd, and we are Spectre now, which is pretty awesome. And we are about to get our own ship. We just have to speak to the ambassador and captain. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So we've got our standing orders, which are to go and hunt down Saren and disrupt his nefarious plot. So let's get to it.
I've got big news for you, Shep. Captain Anderson is stepping down as commanding officer of the Normandy. The ship is yours now.
She's quick and quiet, and you know the crew. Perfect ship for a Spectre. Treat her well, Commander.
I'll take good care of her, sir.
I know you will, Commander.
I want the truth. Why are you stepping down, sir?
You needed your own ship. A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. And it's time for me to step down.
Come clean with me, Captain. You owe me that much.
I was in your shoes 20 years ago, Shepard. They were considering me for the Spectres.
Don't we technically already know this, or did he just not tell us when he said he worked with Saren before?
Why didn't you ever mention this?
What was I supposed to say? I could have been a Spectre, but I blew it? I failed, Commander. It's not something I'm proud of. Ask me later and I'll tell you the whole story. For now, all you need to know is, I was sent on a mission with Saren, and he made sure the Council rejected me. I had my shot. It came and went. Now you have a chance to make up for my mistakes.
We do roughly know, because he has told us about working with Saren in the past. Maybe he didn't mention that he's considered for Spectre then.
I won't let you down, sir.
Saren's gone. Don't even try to find him. But we know what he's after. The conduit. He's got his Geth scouring the Traverse looking for clues.
We had reports of Geth in the Pharaoh system shortly before our colony there dropped out of contact, and there have been sightings around Noveria.
Find out what Saren was after on Pharos and Noveria. Maybe you can figure out where the conduit is before he does.
The Reapers are the real threat.
I'm with the Council on this one, Shepard. I'm not sure they even exist.
But if they do exist,
I mean, that's a fair
conduit's the
comment.
key to bringing them back. Stop Saren from getting the conduit, and we stop the Reapers from returning.
I'll stop him.
We have one more lead. Matriarch Benezia, the other voice in that recording. She has a daughter, a scientist who specializes in the Protheans. We don't know if she's involved, but it might be a good idea to try and find her. See what she knows. Her name's Liara, Dr. Liara Tassoni. We have reports she was exploring an archaeological dig on one of the uncharted worlds in the Artemis Tau cluster.
It doesn't really matter which one I choose, because I can do whatever I want.
Sounds like we should head for the Artemis Tau cluster.
It's your decision, Commander. You're a Spectre now. You don't answer to us.
But your actions still reflect on humanity as a whole. You make a mess and I get stuck cleaning it up.
I'll try not to make things any harder on you, Ambassador.
Glad to hear it, Commander. Remember, you were a human long before you were a Spectre. I have a meeting to get to. Captain Anderson can answer any questions you might have.
Alright, before we go and answer any ask.
Oh, this is quite the view, Commander. So peaceful up here. Very romantic, if you're into that sort of thing.
How is this a romantic view? It's a view of the Normandy, an empty docking bay, maybe the city over there, but like until we get up to the top, which we can't get to because of these barriers, we don't get a proper view of the city. Although we do get to inspect the thrusters and scan the keeper. Like, Ashley, you have weird ideas of romance if this is a romantic visit.
You can see half the Citadel from up here.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of interesting, but we don't actually have the best view, do we? It is pretty interesting. And then what else can I get a shot of there? It's trying to bring up some of this. So we've seen the thrusters. I think the other one is... Normandy Hull. Reasonably certain there's nothing up here. Yeah, weapons. Alright, let's talk to Captain Anderson then.
Yes, Commander?
How are you holding up?
Honestly, this isn't how I pictured my career coming to an end. Pushing papers really isn't my thing, but you're the one who can stop Saren. I believe in you, Shepard. If that means I have to step aside, so be it.
Tell me what happened with you and Saren 20 years ago.
It's close to 20 years ago now. Ambassador Goyle was our representative here on the Citadel. Like Udina, she wanted to get a human into the Spectres. She chose me. The Council sent Saren to keep an eye on me and evaluate my performance, just like they sent Nihilus to keep tabs on you.
I think I deserve the whole story.
We had intel on a rogue scientist being funded by Batarian interests. He was trying to set up a facility to develop illegal AI technology out in the Verge. Alliance intel had done all the work, but the Council wanted a Spectre involved. We compromised. I was assigned to help Saren in his investigation. We tracked the scientist to a refining facility on Kamala. He was hidden away somewhere inside, protected by an army of Batarian mercenaries. The plan was simple. Sneak into the plant, capture the scientist, sneak back out. Quick, quiet, and a minimum of bloodshed.
I'm guessing things didn't go as planned.
Saren and I split up to cover more ground. Then about halfway through the mission, there was a massive explosion in the refinery core. Officially, it was ruled an accident, but I think Saren detonated it on purpose to draw off the enemy guards.
How many casualties?
The explosion tore the refinery to shreds. The whole place was on fire. Black chemical clouds poured out into the atmosphere. Nobody inside survived. There was a camp for the workers and their families nearby. Between the fires and the toxic fumes, the final death count was over 500. Mostly civilians. Saren didn't care. The target was eliminated, mission accomplished, and I ended up taking the blame. That ended all talk of me joining the Spectres.
Saren caused the explosion. How'd he pin it on you?
In his report, Saren accused me of blowing his cover. He said it was my fault the guards were ready for us. He claimed that's why it turned into a massacre. Saren's report was all the proof the Council needed to kill my chances of becoming a Spectre.
Don't blame yourself, Captain.
I don't. I blame Saren. I think he wanted things to go bad. He was looking for an excuse to blow that refinery. Maybe he just likes the violence. Maybe he was just trying to make me look bad to keep humans out of the Spectres. If so, he pulled it off.
I mean, that's a petty response.
Why'd you let him get away with it?
Who do you think the Council was going to listen to? Me? Or their best agent? I had a bad feeling about him right from the start. I should have been more careful. Maybe I could have stopped things before they got out of hand.
Body cams. Body cams are such a necessary part of this kind of thing. Like, they should be standard on your armor, like a little camera somewhere about your person recording everything. And you shouldn't be afraid of body cams.
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
There's all
You're
proof
right,
you need.
Commander. It's no good living in the past.
Is that going to prompt the same story? Let's get more
Any extra
information about
intel
the
you can give me on our colony at Pharos?
The entire planet used to be one giant Prothean city. Mostly ruins now. But some of the infrastructure is still intact. The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left behind. We lost all contact with them when the Geth attacked.
What do you know about the Artemis Tau cluster?
Not much. I've never been there myself. A handful of systems with a few small, uncharted worlds, but no real colonies. Might not be easy finding Dr. Tassoni out there. My advice is to look for the world with the Prothean ruins.
What can you tell me about Noveria?
Novaria's trouble. Always has been. The whole planet's basically a center for corporations to conduct illegal research. Watch your back there, Shepard. Spectres are about the only form of Citadel authority Noveria respects. But they aren't popular.
I'm curious to see what this brings up.
I want to know the truth about you and Saren.
We had intel on a... The plan was simple. Sneak into the plant...
The only thing I care
You're
about
right,
is...
Commander. It's no good living in the past.
As soon as I realised what it was like, no. It's the same answer regardless of the point.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Alright, I think we've got enough information there. Let's go ahead and greet our crew on board.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress.
I heard what
Oh,
happened to Captain Anderson. Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics. Just watch your back, Commander. Things go bad on this mission, you're next on their chopping block.
the loading time isn't long enough. You don't get to play I'm not going to be decontaminated today. I used to always play that game. Now it's just like, oh no, yeah, I forget the loading is so good.
Saren's out there somewhere, and we're gonna find him.
Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%. Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
This is Commander Shepard speaking.
We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy.
This began with an attack on a human settlement in the Traverse.
But we know Saren won't stop there. His Geth armies aren't going to stay on the far fringes of Citadel space.
For too long, our species has stood apart from the others.
Now it's time for us to step up and do our part for the rest of the galaxy. Time to show them what humans are made of.
Wherever Saren goes, we'll follow.
Wherever he searches for the conduit, we'll be there. We will hunt him to the very ends of the galaxy and bring him down.
Humanity needs to do this.
Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of every other species in Citadel space. Saren must be stopped, and I promise you all, we will stop him.
Well said, Commander. Captain will be proud.
The captain gave up everything so I could have this chance. We can't fail.
Yes, sir.
That was a little abrupt, actually, the ending there. Not sure where we're gonna go first. Gonna go anywhere? I'm gonna talk to people. I'd quite like to see how everyone's settling in, to be honest. Alright, who's over here? We've got Cable. I know, let's inspect our quarters. Crappy bed. Technically beds, but it's still crappy. There's not even a sheet to pull across or a curtain or anything. And you got that. It's not even a private bathroom, man. It's not even a door. A couple of cupboards, a desk. Nice table-ish. Another desk with a couple of cupboards. Man, the captain doesn't even rate a private bathroom. Normandy SR2 is much better.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
Oh, you don't have anything to say?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Kind of assumed I would get to speak to him. And this is theoretically where the rest of the crew sleep. So how many sleeper pods are there? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they don't have anyone in them, so it's not like... Oh no, wait. No, that... I mean, that's bizarrely frosty, but it doesn't have anyone in it. So there's 8 pods, nobody sleeps in them. There's more crew than that. What are these supposed to be? Workstations? Weird. Oh, so there's at least 2 people here. Alright. Okay, they suck, but... Well, they don't super suck. We've already spoken to Shep last week.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
No, we've already asked those questions.
Goodbye, Commander.
Don't need to go there. Alright, let's go downstairs. So there was eight pods upstairs. That's 3 staff. Plus the Doctor, plus Joker. Plus Engineer Adams. Plus the XO. So we're up to what, 7 people already? But nobody's in that. And they're all on the same shift. I don't know, it's weird. Oh, plus 1, 2, 3 extra people down here. We're up to 10. I can't remember exactly how many is upstairs, but there's a bunch. Plus the guards. Talk to Engineer Adams.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Oh, I've already asked these questions. What do you have for me?
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
I think I'd feel better if he was wearing, like, anything other than what looks like a dress uniform.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Like, I'm wearing more of a walkabout uniform than he is. I mean, yes, he's in charge, but I also expect him to wear the uniform and go crawling around. I mean, a good engineering lead would at least wear the uniform. He doesn't tend to get dirty. Hello, Tally.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Well, it's one of the most advanced human ships in space. Maybe not one of the most advanced of all time ships in Citadel space, in fairness.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Let's learn more about the quarries and everything else.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I'd love to know what they were overruled on, but I don't think we get that information.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. 1 million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So, the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large numbers. As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
I mean, yeah, what did you expect?
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Well...
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
I mean, I'd argue that the Geth only went to war because you were trying to kill them. So... You know, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you hadn't killed them, they wouldn't have risen up against you. Would they have risen up against you? Maybe. But you acted first.
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
Okay, if they wanted to destroy all organic life, they would have come out of the veil and tried to destroy all organic life. But for 300 years, they've been behind the veil. Or Perseus Veil? Whatever they call it. So, you know, I'm not super convinced they want to destroy you, Quarians, or all organic life. They were quite happy living by themselves until Saren. Granted, but still.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when the gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
I want to know when we find out about Tally's daddy. What option do I have to choose to find out about her father? Can we find out?
I should go.
See you later.
I am reasonably convinced we do learn about that, but I'm not sure when. Alright, Garrus, you grandstanding boy toy.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with a Spectre would be better than life at CSAC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
I mean, you shot a hostage taker while he was holding a hostage, and not from a controlled position. It wasn't like a sniper lining up a shot, you just stood up and shot him, so I'm gonna be with CSEC on this one about the rules.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
I mean, you're on a military ship now, and we have just as many rules.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
Oh, okay. That does seem more abruptly than I thought.
Nice ship you've got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogan live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
That's the exact same line as the Paragon version.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
Apparently Shepard's just an uneducated ass.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I mean, that's completely fair.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected. Every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
I mean, the Solarians created it, but they didn't use it. The Turians are the one that deployed it. Is that just not common knowledge? We learned it in 3. But is that genuinely not common knowledge? I mean, if I was a Solarian, I'd be like, whoa, hey, we didn't actually deploy the genophage. That was a war crime waiting to happen and we didn't do it. Shouldn't be developed in first place, I'll grant you, but...
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
Mass Effect 2 doesn't end well.
You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
Alright.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
It's not a super long conversation now. Let's talk to Ashley. I'm going to try real hard not to romance anyone, so hopefully it shouldn't be that hard.
Commander?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit?
Yes, sir. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
Sir, they have flashlight heads. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Alright, I think that's everybody to... Oh wait, it's not everybody to talk to. I've got one more person. No, you know what, I'll save them because they're back upstairs on the bridge. I'll save the bridge for next time. Right now, we have... No, I don't like that view. Is this view any better? That view is slightly better. I don't have any annoying blue highlights in my head. Alright, so, well, we now have our own ship. We don't have a destination. I haven't decided yet where I'm going to go, but we've got an idea of what our crew are going to be like. Kinda. I mean, I've certainly talked to everybody and saw some good dialogue, such as it is. It's actually not that much dialogue available straight away. Tally's not going to have any more dialogue for ages. I know she's going to have a one-liner thing, and then another one-liner thing later on, and then a couple of things. It's not much. Garrus doesn't have much more. I think I have to complete the main mission before I start unlocking any kind of dialogue with people. So we might save that. I might try just a simple form of mission and then see if that will unlock any dialogue, or if it has to be a main mission. Not sure. I will experiment and we'll find it there. So that kind of narrows down exactly where I'm going to start with the game. It's certainly not going to be a main mission for a while. We've got loads of places to explore first. But yeah, regardless. Lots of lore, lots of relationship stuff, which is just as important in this game as action. So we're going to be delving into all of it. I'm going to try real hard, like I said, not to initiate romance. My goal is not to romance anyone. Don't want to romance anyone in this game. I don't actually know who Mark Shepard's final ideal romance is going to be. But I don't want anyone in this game purely because of who I'm leaning towards killing on Vermeer. So that narrows down my options to one, and from there, I've had that option so many times, I don't really know if I want that option again. I think I'm going for solid romance with Liara rather than anything else. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll play it out. We'll play it by ear. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed playing as ever. And join me next time for whatever video goes up on the channel. If it happens to be Mass Effect, I'll be getting out of the Citadel and going to another planet and doing something exciting involving the Mako. The best ship in the game. No, not ship. Vehicle. Sorry, I meant to say vehicle game. I love the Mako. Janky and all. I still think it's great. If it's not Mass Effect, I'm not sure. I've got a bunch of other stuff stored up on the hard drive that I haven't edited yet. Could be Skyrim. Could be Urzra, or it could be Karas, the Inquisitor. Not sure what's going on the channel next. Like I said, I've got a bunch of stuff stored on the hard drive. I haven't finished editing a bunch of stuff. We'll see what comes up next. Either way, thanks for watching, guys. Ta-ta for now.